days. All they see is just a young, pretty face. But I'm trying to get to know you much better. Don't matter how much time it will take, but there's something you're trying to hide. There's something you're keeping inside. But I'm trying to get to know you much better. Don't matter how much time it will take.
Hello and welcome to I Am That Girl podcast. My name is Marquetta DeVille and I am that girl. On this podcast, we have candid conversations with women who are killing it in their respective fields. And today we have none other than Yolanda Smith, the brand therapist. Yolanda is an author, speaker, and in her own words, brand therapist. Thank you for joining us today, Yolanda. How are you?
Hello. I am wonderful and excited to be here today. Yes, let's do it.
Oh, well, thank you so much for taking time out as we were discussing before the show got started. It's 3 hours earlier, or 3 hours, what do I want to say?
Later. Yes.
3 hours later where you are, but you pressed through to join us today, and we're super excited to hear all about you. So, in your own words, can you give us a brief bio on yourself today, Miss Smith?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me again. Yeah, I would just say that I like to go by and use my $1 million minute because I am a Brandthrupist, helping people to really achieve their best selves by unleashing the power of personal branding. So I help corporate professionals and entrepreneurs to be able to articulate their value, live authentically, and stand out. I'm a certified brand analyst and a business strategist because what I find is that often entrepreneurs have the best ideas, but sometimes they go straight to tactics and create products and services without putting in business structure. So I help entrepreneurs to build sustainability in their business so they can have success, financial freedom, and the joy that comes along with actually being an entrepreneur. So it's helping the employee die so the CEO can be born. So that's what I do. I have over 30 years in the healthcare industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, and I've been in leadership roles from sales, marketing, communications, medical, customer engagement. So really always that touch point, that relational a touch point, love building relationships and things of that nature. So excited to be pursuing my own business, branding for success at this point in my journey. I have retired from corporate America and literally just helping entrepreneurs to make a lot of money and do it in a way that is sustainable and they can continue to do it and have time freedom.
Awesome. I love that you talked about having time because, as an entrepreneur, it seems like there's not enough hours in a day for us, right? So
that's right.
Just lapping back to that. So you're a mom, you're a wife, and now you're a full-time entrepreneur. If you could just give us some tips on how you actually find balance in being those major roles.
Well, let's put it this way. I gave up the ideal and the concept of balance a while ago.
Okay.
And so I don't believe necessarily in work-life balance. I believe in work-life integration. And so I think it was finding those points where you could integrate your family and your work to such a point that neither one has to suffer, right? So it's not like family has to go over here and work is over here and they're competing with one another. Perfect example. My daughter was home from college this week on spring break, and I had to speak in Atlanta. I took her with me to Atlanta. so
Oh,
that I
that's
could then spend quality time with her while mom was working, right?
uh-huh.
But the other thing is it gave her exposure to what I do. And she was at a women's empowerment conference. She's a young girl, so it was good to
Mhm.
just even have her experience that as well. So it's really that integration. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. That's well said.
Thank
I
you.
like that. I'm still learning. I'm 5 years in and I'm still learning how to find a balance. Some days I just have to shut off work, and some days I just have to
Yes.
shut off family.
And it's never, you're not looking, I don't think we're looking for that 50-50. It's some days, you got things to get done, right? So you're going at 70-80% on the work front. That's just the way it is. There's other days that you have that opportunity then to pour into the family a little bit more than you normally do,
Mhm.
and then sometimes you just don't know what to do. Heck, I cooked tonight thinking my husband was going to be home and he ended up working over, so
Oh.
sometimes you don't get that part right. But at the end of the day, I think that it's more about us having self care so
Mhm.
that we can show up for
Right.
everybody we need to show up for.
That's amazing. I'm gonna have to implement that into my life. Like, look, I'm here, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you recently left your 9 to 5 and
Mhm.
pursuing your entrepreneurship full time. What has that journey been like for you?
It's funny you asked that question. I just posted on social media last week about 12 things I've already learned. But I'll just give you a few. One
Okay.
is that the freedom is amazing. Let me just
Mm-hmm.
not being tied to having to be somewhere because someone says that's when you need to be there, whether it's productive or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
That to me, the freedom is amazing. Number two, I like being my own boss. I do, and I
I can
enjoy
agree.
that part. Yes, yes. Number three, I think for me, I've realized it is a lot of work, and I kind of wonder every day, how did I find the time to do it? Because I started my business while I was still working a full time job, and I did that business for 4 years before I
Mm,
left. I mean, so I realized I must have been burning the candle more than not at both ends, right? But
okay.
but I think what it did is it gave me the freedom to explore things that perhaps maybe I didn't undertake because I was busy doing what absolutely had to be done, right?
Right.
So that part is there, and then I learned along this journey. I realized you're going to make mistakes, and you have to give yourself grace.
Right.
It is a journey. It's not
It is.
necessarily about the destination, but it is about the journey. So I'm learning some lessons. I'm getting there. And I think the other thing, I'm reading a great book right now. It's called Who, Not How.
Mm,
And that book is tremendous from the standpoint that it talks about as an entrepreneur, we need to be focused on the things we do extremely well
right.
and find other people. That's the who.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to learn how to do everything, find the people that do it and then just trust them to do what they do. So it
That's
requires,
amazing.
yeah, requires a little bit of pullback,
Right.
but and
It's
that's
funny
hard.
you talk about that. So my husband and I are actually taking a class here in town right now. And Tasha, who brought us
Mhm.
together, Tasha Robinson White at Vanguard
Yes.
Global, we have another group of mutual friends and they do the bird assessment, and it helps you identify the different personality. So when my husband and I took the well, it's a personality assessment and you're labeled with the different birds. And so when my husband and I took the personality assessment, it kind of helped us learn like, okay, you're better in this.
Hmm.
And so with my husband being an eagle, it shows his dominance and he's a go-getter and he doesn't mind taking a no. And then with me being a parakeet, I'm
Okay.
like wild, on the edge, willing to try whatever. But we also realize that we need that dove that comes in and is more nurturing, like, okay, how everything's going, how should we get? And then you got the owl that is very structured, factual. So it's
Hmm.
I need to read that book also so I can better put my assessment to play in my personal life and business. So that is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. It's a
So
good one.
as we discussed, we were brought together by a mutual company, mutual friend, Miss Tasha Robinson White of Vanguardian Global. So,
Love
and
it.
we were brought together in regards to the Wealth Mindset Conference happening right here in Las Vegas, Nevada next month. Yay!
Yes.
And we are
It's gonna be
super
amazing.
excited to have you as a keynote speaker for the opening audience of the conference. So if you could just tell us a few things you're excited about the Wealth Mindset Conference, and also a few things on what the listening audience can expect to hear as you speak on branding yourself in your business, in your personal life.
Yeah. Yes. So first, thank you for inviting me to be a part of it. I'm really excited about this because I think that what has been happening over the past couple years has been a major shift, right? Since the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic hit, they've gone from isolation to hybrid environments, a lot of mental uh, uh, changes, just everyday changes, life changes. And so
Right.
in this transition, I think what we sometimes fail to realize is we hop in and we go and don't focus on the mindset. And the mindset is really the key to you opening up the assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And understanding that what you think, has a lot to do with what you do, how you act. It controls your ability to be successful, to really be able to grow or destroy yourself. I mean, the mind is that powerful. And so I tell people often, and what I'm looking forward to sharing is I've been coming across a lot of information. So I'm going to let my heart lead me some kind of way. But at the end of the day, it's all about through this thinking, it's a vibration. And the vibration then becomes the magnet, and the magnet attracts, right, what you are putting out there. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're putting out negative thoughts, if you're telling yourself you can't do it before you've even tried, if you're allowing these limiting beliefs to come in and dominate, you will get exactly what you put out there. And that's what you'll attract. Because studies suggest that you're only going to give the amount of energy to the outcome you think you'll achieve. So if
Mm,
I've already told myself I can't do it, I'm not going to give you 150% on a 70% outcome.
right.
So it's really having the opportunity to talk to people about really paying attention to how powerful the mind is, and that understanding that in this environment, in this world, that we must cultivate a growth mindset. We must really understand what is was holding us back, whether it's past experiences and what our parents told us. Think
Mhm.
about all the stuff. Money don't grow on trees. A penny saved is a penny earned is a penny saved, or something like that. All that stuff that would have you really sitting in a box, if you will.
Right.
So really talking about and providing some tips and some strategies, if you will, about how you can free yourself. Because if you free yourself from the inside, you can open up yourself to receive all the blessings that God has for you. So I
Yeah.
think that's where we're going to go. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and then I've got some secret sauce around personal branding and why that's important, and how that, in order to have a powerful brand, you've got to do certain things, right? And
Hmm.
really position yourself appropriately. Authenticity is key. What does that look like? Well, obviously, it starts with that mindset, right? Do you
Right.
know yourself? Are you self aware? Who are you? And
Hmm.
so, really giving them some opportunities to really leave there introspectively thinking, I really need to pay attention to this, because, mindset will open up your health, your wealth, your relationships. We know, relationships are the new currency, right? So how
Right.
you making these connections and things of that nature. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun, girl. It's gonna be.
Yes.
I'm coming to drop some pearls and bring them the business.
Okay. I love it. That's
Yeah,
amazing. And it's so funny that you talk about the mindset, because that's where this conference was birthed from. I myself, I was that mindset of, oh, I'm just behind the scene. My husband, he can run the business, he can build the business. And I never looked out to how many people are missing out because I'm that person that's supposed to deliver this information to them, or I'm that person that's supposed to make it make sense. So I went to a conference in New York a couple of years, 2 years ago now, and I sat in on a class, and I didn't understand why I went to that class, but it was to shift my mindset to understanding, like, I'm not taking anything away from what my husband brings to the business, but there's something that I was meant to bring to the business also. So once I got that mindset shift, I came back to Las Vegas and I totally killed it. And there were so many people that just jumped on and were like, whatever home ownership increased in the business,
Mhm.
people started to totally believe in themselves because they saw the change within me. Like, she's normally the
Absolutely.
quiet person. She's normally the behind the scenes. You never ever hear you most people didn't even know my name. They were like, "Oh yeah, you're Greg DeVille's wife, right?" Or "You're Jayla's mom." Or
Yeah, no, I understand. Funny you say that because Tasha was a lot like that before I started coaching with her,
oh,
and she always made other people fabulous,
mm-hmm.
always put other people out in the forefront. I said, but you need to be there.
Oh, okay,
If you can do this for other people, you can do this for yourself.
right,
And so it's amazing how when you think of it from that standpoint, you have great gifts to offer, and how do you bring those forth so people, because if you don't share the gifts that God gave you, you're
right,
cheating other people from the greatness within you. And
mm-hmm.
so it's so important that we know, even regardless of our personality styles, doesn't we're not talking about how you do it. The fact is you have to do it.
Right,
And you'll find that your greatest power shows up when you show up.
right. So I have one question, and I do apologize that I didn't put it out there earlier in the email, but I do have one question. There's probably, I want to say, 50 or 60 people that are working a 9 to 5
Mhm.
right now that are wondering if they even need to attend the Wealth Mindset Conference. They're like,
Mm.
how does branding apply to that person? And you briefly mentioned it about, like, you just have to use your gifts. So if you could elaborate to that person just a little bit on why they need to be at the Wealth Mindset Conference, and how this will be beneficial to that 9 to 5 person who just hasn't birthed the gift that's within them.
Oh my goodness. Well, when you look at that person, and I was that person for 30
Mm-hmm.
years. I was that person. And the key is that when you're working in corporate America, uh, your brand is a requirement, not an option. That you
Right.
need it more when you're working that 9 to 5. Not I wouldn't say more, but in a different way. Why? Because oftentimes, as even as women, or minorities, we can feel very invisible, overlooked, undervalued, underappreciated, and we're working harder than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. So if you are not creating a brand, which then allows you to make influential connections, you're likely not being talked about when the conversation's being had, because you're not in the
Right.
room when the conversation. Jeff Bezos said it best. Your personal brand is what people say about you when you're
Mm-hmm.
not in the room. So when you're not in the room and they're gossiping, because they will, is it
Right.
positive or negative? Because they're discussing roles that don't even exist yet. Is your name coming up as a potential candidate for those roles? So if you're looking for career advancement, if you're looking to lead, and I don't mean manage people necessarily, I mean lead from the seat you're in. If you're looking, to really have an opportunity to influence and build connections and relationships, you must have a personal brand. So you guys need to fly and get your ticket to the conference, because the truth is you miss a little, you miss a lot. And this
Right.
goes all the way back to how comfortable are you speaking up for yourself? Are you able to articulate your value to other people? Do they know what your expertise and your superpowers are? And if you can't answer that emphatically, then it's a huge miss.
Right.
Yes,
Thank you
because you're
so much
missing that.
for that.
Yeah, because you're missing the opportunity to tell somebody something interesting and compelling about you. I never
Right.
will forget. I'll tell you the story real quick. I know we on a time schedule here, but
Oh,
I'll
you're
tell you real
fine.
quick. This was like 2009. I remember it. It was a spring day. I was in a conference room. It was amazing. I was in there with a group of colleagues and we were brainstorming how we can create more employee engagement. You know, that's always an issue in
Mhm.
corporations. I'm in leadership, the whole nine. In walks the CEO. Well, I'd only been with the company maybe a year and a half at this point. So I'm like, we got a 38,000 employee company. The CEO walks in. I'm like, well, woo, that's the CEO, right? He knew a couple people, didn't know me, came over to me and he said, I don't believe we met. I said, no, my name's Yolanda Smith, and shook his hand. He said, Yolanda,
Mhm.
tell me a little something about yourself. I
Mm.
choked.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I stuttered out my job title.
Mhm.
And on top of that, then I nervously giggled. So you know how that goes. And he smiled and looked at me and went on to the next person. I knew right
Mm.
then I had blown a huge opportunity. I didn't know
Mhm.
what it was at that point, but I know I didn't do that right. Because guess what? With the job title that I held at that time, there were 1,000 other employees with the same job title. So how did I
Mm.
set myself apart?
Mm.
Didn't. Didn't. Huge opportunity. So for corporate, people working that daily job, they're in corporate America or they're, in the business sector working. How are you going to be known? How are you going to tell somebody who you are when you've got that 30 seconds to get it out? And you need to
Mm.
catch them, right there, as my mentor Linda Clemens would say, at hello.
Right.
Catch them at hello, right?
Right. That's amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for that.
Mhm.
So, again, I know it's kind of late in Las Vegas, but I can never leave my podcast without asking this question. Um, what would you tell the younger
Yeah.
you?
I thought about this one because this is interesting. I would tell the younger me to really, I was a tenacious kind of wild, uh, what would I say? Wildflower. By that, I
Mhm.
mean, I wasn't scared to take risk and do things. I was confident. But what I
Mm.
didn't know is I didn't know my value. I didn't know my worth. And
Mm.
I would say then, trust your instincts, because I have found that my instincts don't fail me. I fail when I don't follow them.
Mm.
So I would be thinking, trust your instincts and know you're enough, right? Know you're
Right.
worthy. I think sometimes I question that even with confidence is, you know, will I, why would they want to pick me, or why would they choose me, or those self-doubting
Mhm.
questions that we ask ourselves. So I think it would be trust your instincts, know that you're enough, and really, know your value, know your worth.
That's
That's kind of where
amazing.
I was. Yep.
I love it. I love it. And of course, you'll be here next month and you'll be at the Wealth Mindset Conference giving the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And we are excited to have you. You were just recently in Las Vegas a couple of months ago. So feeling like you should just get a home here.
Between here and Atlanta, I don't know. Between Vegas and Atlanta, I don't know. Seems like that needs to be my stomping ground, but I'm excited to. I mean, I come back. I love Vegas. Plus, I'm gonna get to see Usher.
Ooh, nice. Did you already get tickets? Wait,
Yes.
wait, is Usher still here? I thought he left on March 18th.
He
He's coming
comes
back.
and goes, and I
Okay.
literally, I've been to Vegas probably over the past couple years trying to catch him, and every time I'm in town, he's never there. This time he's there. Yep. So he,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Did you
yes,
already get tickets?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. All righty.
Yes,
I have a friend that works the concert, so sometimes he'll let us know if there's tickets to the concert.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't want to
Okay.
miss it.
Awesome. And so you're coming in. Are you going to see him on Friday night or Saturday
Yes,
night?
I see him Friday night. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah,
Nice. Well,
yeah.
look, I might have to run into you at that show. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
you know what? It won't hurt. Come on down. Let's have some fun.
It's
Definitely,
an
definitely.
amazing show.
Yeah.
I want to say when he first got here with my husband last year. It might not when he first got here. But last year we went to the concert and it was so amazing. I was on the edge of my seat if I wasn't
Ooh,
standing up. So
ooh,
you are going to enjoy it. So
I'm excited. So
awesome.
you, yeah. So as your people are coming in and they're signing up for this conference, I just want to give you a plug because this is important for people to know. They need to sign up. You know, I do say if you miss a little, you miss a lot. The other thing I like to say is you miss 100% of the shots you never take. And the reason
Right.
people are spending money to invest in themselves to come to this is because they know that the lineup that you have in store are people that have demonstrated success in doing some of the things they want to do. And one of the best things you can do for yourself is find people that have already done it and align yourself to those people. And when you do that, you recognize that, and you're in the room, right? You recognize that
Right.
success leaves clues. And that's how you can start to pick up things from other
Hmm.
people because it's okay to be a copycat as long as
Right.
you copy the right cat.
Right. Right. So I appreciate that feedback and I want to make sure that the audience knows how to stay in touch with you. So if you could just give us your social media handles on how they can stay in touch and see what Yolanda Smith has.
Yes. So I'm on Instagram. That's at branding for success with the number four, branding for success. And also, because I do serve a corporate audience as well, I am on LinkedIn as well. Yolanda M. Smith, and it's branding for success with the number four. And that's also my website, brandingforsuccess.com. I don't know. I might have lost you. So if this is still going live, this is what we do. We just ad lib. And again, want to invite you guys to join the Wealth Mindset Conference in Las Vegas. It is taking place on April the 16th. You don't want to miss it. It is going to be an awesome, awesome opportunity for you to listen to some dynamic speakers, really get a mindset reset, and have an opportunity to learn some key strategies on how to build your business, advance your career, and really be able to set yourself up for a life of financial freedom and success.